6 most ruthless killers' reactions to death sentences. In the grim realm of criminality, where lives are cut short by the ruthless and unforgiving hands of killers, the dispensation of justice often takes the form of a death sentence. As society grapples with the moral complexities surrounding capital punishment, the reactions of these notorious and merciless individuals facing their own demise become a chilling study in the human psyche. The impending specter of death, wielded by the very system these killers sought to evade, elicits a range of responses, revealing facets of their characters that may shock, disturb, or defy the conventional expectations of human emotion. Number 1. Marquis Floyd. Marcus Floyd faced charges of murder in Florida for the killing of Lieutenant Deborah Clayton. Floyd, who was already serving a life sentence for the murder of his pregnant ex-girlfriend Sadie Dixon, was on the run when he was spotted by a shopper at a Walmart on January 9, 2017. The tragic event unfolded when Lieutenant Deborah Clayton confronted Floyd inside the Walmart. A shootout ensued outside the store, resulting in Clayton's death. Floyd managed to escape and was apprehended by authorities 9 days later after a dramatic confrontation where he lost an eye. During the trial, Floyd claimed self-defense, asserting that he had suffered brain damage when confronted by the police. Despite his claims, the judge ruled him competent for the sentencing hearing. Floyd was sentenced to death for charges including first-degree murder of a police officer, attempted first-degree murder, aggravated assault, carjacking with a firearm, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Floyd's behavior in court was marked by verbal outbursts and a defiant attitude. Even after receiving the death sentence, he continued to lash out verbally. The sentencing occurred nearly 3 months after a jury unanimously recommended the death penalty. The entire incident took place more than 5 years after Lieutenant Deborah Clayton's tragic death. She was posthumously promoted to lieutenant, and the Orlando police chief expressed hope that Floyd's sentence would provide solace to the community, knowing that a dangerous murderer would face the highest penalty provided by law. Number 2. Erica Mae Butts and Shanita Latrice Cunningham. In a Charleston courtroom in North Carolina, Erica Mae Butts and her partner, Shanita Latrice Cunningham, faced charges for the death of 3-year-old Serenity Richardson in 2009. Serenity, who was staying with Erica during a 2-week holiday, was found dead, with the cause of death attributed to abuse inflicted by her godmother, Erica, and Shanita. The court heard that this wasn't the first instance of abuse. The women had previously used a belt and plastic coat hangers on Serenity. Signs of abuse were evident all over Serenity's body, except for the soles of her feet. When Serenity became unresponsive, the women attempted to revive her with bleach and ice, but she was already dead when medics arrived. The women claimed that they didn't anticipate their actions would lead to Serenity's death. During the highly emotional trial, it was revealed that the abuse was not an isolated incident. When Judge Dider Richardson read their sentence, Erica and Shanita collapsed, screamed uncontrollably, and hyperventilated. Court officials had to physically lift them off the floor and wheel them out of the room. Erica's mother also had to be forcibly removed after shouting at her daughter. Prosecutor Elizabeth Gordon described it as the worst case she had seen in 4 years of prosecuting crimes against special victims. Both Erica and Shanita were found guilty of murder and sentenced to spend the rest of their lives in prison. Number 3. Michael Madison. Michael Madison, an American convicted serial killer and sex offender from East Cleveland, Ohio, was arrested in 2013 for the murders of at least 3 women over a 9-month period in 2012 and 2013. Born on October 15, 1977, to Diane Madison and John Baldwin, Michael had a difficult upbringing. His mother was abusive, and her boyfriends also mistreated him. His father denied paternity and had no contact with him. In July 2013, the police received reports of a foul odor emanating from a garage leased to Michael. Upon investigation, they discovered a decomposing body inside. The next day, 2 more bodies were found in different locations, all wrapped in plastic bags. The victims were identified as Shetisha Sheely, 28, missing since September 2012, Angela Deskins, 38, reported missing in June 2013, and Sherelda Helen Terry, 18, last seen leaving a Cleveland elementary school in July 2013. The police, with a search warrant, found additional evidence of decomposition in Michael's apartment. During his arrest at his mother's house, Michael showed no remorse and even smirked at the father of one of his victims, prompting the father to lunge at him in court. Michael Madison was charged with 3 counts of aggravated murder on July 22, 2013. In 2016, he was sentenced to death, and he is currently held on death row. Despite the severity of his crimes and the court's decision, Michael remained emotionless as his death sentence was read. The sentencing was based on the aggravated circumstances, including a course of conduct, felony murder, kidnapping, and rape, outweighing any mitigating factors. Michael's lack of remorse and his courtroom behavior added to the shock and horror surrounding his case. Number 4. Diana Lovejoy. Diana Lovejoy, a 44-year-old woman from Carlsbad, California, found herself in court for attempted murder and conspiracy to commit murder in September 2016. Lovejoy gained notoriety when she was found guilty of attempting to murder her ex-husband, Greg Mulvihill, in a shooting that took place on a dark dirt path in Carlsbad, California. The incident followed a bitter divorce and custody battle over their son. The court heard about Lovejoy's false claims of abuse against her ex-husband, which were proven to be untrue and were used as part of a ploy to gain sole custody of their son. Lovejoy, who met her accomplice, Weldon McDavid Jr., at an Oceanside gun range, engaged in an affair with him despite his being married. McDavid, an ex-Marine and School of Infantry instructor, was hired by Lovejoy to carry out the shooting, posing as a private investigator offering evidence of Mulvihill's alleged abuse. During their sentencing hearing, both Lovejoy and McDavid denied any involvement in a murder-for-hire scheme, claiming they never intended to kill Mulvihill. Lovejoy, emotional and tearful, asserted that she would never take her son's father away from him. McDavid argued that Lovejoy had manipulated him into carrying out the shooting and claimed the jury had misunderstood their intentions. Despite their claims of innocence, the prosecutor argued that both were deflecting blame and taking no accountability for their actions. Lovejoy was sentenced to 26 years to life in prison, while McDavid received a 50-year sentence for pulling the trigger on the gun that shot Mulvihill. Lovejoy collapsed on the table upon hearing her sentence. This case is notable for the complex dynamics involved in the murder-for-hire plot and the dramatic reactions during the sentencing hearing. The court deemed Lovejoy and McDavid responsible for their actions, holding them accountable for the attempted murder. Number 5. Nico Jenkins. Nico Allen Jenkins is an infamous American spree killer facing charges of multiple murders in Omaha, Nebraska. Jenkins initiated his killing spree less than 2 weeks after being released from prison, where he had served 10.5 years for a carjacking committed at the age of 15 and assaults committed while in prison. Jenkins claimed that he committed the murders under the command of the ancient serpent god Apophis. Jenkins' criminal history began at the age of 7 when he was charged with bringing a gun to school. On August 11, 2013, a patrol officer discovered 2 bodies in a white Ford pickup truck near a city swimming pool at 18th and F Street. The victims had been shot in the head, and their pockets were turned inside out. They had been lured to meet 2 women for a sexual encounter. The murder spree started with this random double murder less than 2 weeks after Jenkins' release from prison. Jenkins' 4th and final victim, Andrea Kruger, was discovered on August 21st. Her body was found with multiple 12-gauge shotgun wounds to the face, neck, and shoulder. Jenkins confessed to all 4 murders during an 8-hour interview, stating that the acts were sacrifices to Apophis, an ancient Egyptian deity. Jenkins was declared competent to stand trial and was allowed to represent himself with advisory attorneys. Throughout the trial, he maintained that he acted under the command of Apophis. The details of his crimes, coupled with his claims of divine influence, contributed to the chilling and disturbing nature of the case. Number 6. Michael Brady. Michael Brady attempted a prison escape that resulted in the tragic death of 4 prison workers at Pasquotank Correctional Institution in North Carolina. Brady, already facing a 24-year sentence for attempted murder after shooting at a North Carolina state trooper, orchestrated the brutal murder of 4 prison workers along with 3 other inmates, using hammers and scissors. During the escape attempt, Brady admitted to hitting Jeffrey Howe multiple times with a hammer until he stopped moving. The attack was described as a bloodbath, with Brady displaying extreme violence towards the victims. After the killings, Brady attempted to hop a fence but was captured at gunpoint. During the trial, prosecutors argued that Brady was the mastermind behind the attack and showed no remorse for the killings. Despite the overwhelming evidence against him, Brady took the stand at his sentencing and declared his willingness to tell the truth, asserting that he knew the difference between right and wrong. When asked if he understood that murder is wrong, Brady affirmed but seemed indifferent, suggesting that his freedom meant more to him than the lives of the victims. The jury unanimously recommended the death penalty for Brady, who appeared emotionless during the sentencing. The judge later agreed on the death penalty, and Brady is currently incarcerated in Colorado, awaiting his ultimate sentence. The case underscores the brutality of the prison escape attempt and the lack of remorse displayed by Michael Brady for the lives he took. Would you like it? Hit the like button and subscribe to our channels for more interesting and informative videos.